Why Hollywood is trying to stop Sound of Freedom. The Sound of Freedom debuted in theaters July 4 and has collected more than $41 million so far, placing third at the box office last weekend behind bigger budget films Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, and Insidious, The Red Door. Donald Trump plans to screen the film Sound of Freedom at his New Jersey golf club next week. The film, about agents fighting a child sex trafficking ring, has been embraced by the far right and Christians, who have helped boost it to more than $50 million in receipts at the box office. Though the film has attracted controversy, it has a 77% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, with Variety's critic calling it a compelling movie that shines an authentic light on one of the crucial criminal horrors of our time, one that Hollywood has mostly shied away from. Many critics have linked Sound of Freedom to the pro-Trump QAnon conspiracy cult. They've also been startled by its mainstream success, but the truth is that the conspiratorial right and the Hollywood default aren't that different. Which is why, perhaps, our polity has had such difficulty rejecting QAnon Trump and fascism. The film is controversial because the man the movie is about, former Homeland Security operative Tim Ballard, and the actor who plays him, Jim Caviezel, both have links to QAnon. Ballard has promoted the baseless claim that furniture retailer Wayfair was involved in child trafficking. Caviezel has spoken at multiple QAnon events. In an interview with former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, he promoted one of the cult's most outrageous conspiracy theories, claiming that child traffickers drain their victims' blood to create a serum to prevent aging. Angel Studios, which created the thriller, insists that, despite these links, the movie itself isn't related to QAnon. And after sitting through the 2-hour movie, I think Angel Studios has a point. The film doesn't explicitly reference QAnon talking points. Instead, in many ways, it echoes and reproduces themes and tropes around trafficking that are common in mainstream Hollywood cinema. Sound of Freedom isn't QAnon propaganda. Exactly. But it shows how closely QAnon propaganda mirrors common popular pulp narratives. Sound of Freedom is centered on the kidnapping of 2 young Honduran children, Miguel, played by Lucas Avila, and Rocio, Cristal Aparicio. Agent Ballard becomes aware of their plight while staking out a child abuser in the US. Defying the Homeland Security bureaucracy, he sets up a series of sting operations in Colombia, the last of which leads him into rebel-controlled territory to save Rocio from a militia leader. Although the movie is billed as being based on a true story, reporting suggests that Ballard frequently makes exaggerated claims and oversells his own contributions. In 2020, his organization's Operation Underground Railroad was investigated for using false claims about its successes to raise money, though charges were never filed. On Thursday, it was reported that he left the organization. Anti-trafficking experts have also argued that the film's presentation on trafficking is misleading. Data also points to a different picture than what is depicted in the film. The Counter-Trafficking Data Collaborative, which collects information from around the world, found that 67% of the children who are sexually trafficked are 15 to 17 years old rather than young children. In 41% of the cases, a family member was involved. Behind those numbers are often stories of addiction, disowned LGBTQ+ people, and trading sex on the street to survive. That's why experts worry that Sound of Freedom's stranger danger narrative and the way it centers on victims who are as innocent and as sympathetic as possible may make it more difficult to organize help for less perfect victims when they are targeted by those close to them. But while the film doesn't necessarily jibe with reality, it does very much fit into Hollywood's standard presentation of exploitation and trafficking. From classics like Taxi Driver in 1976 to exploitation trek like Rambo: Last Blood 2019. From the big-budget thriller Taken 2009 to supposedly true-to-life but then debunked biopic Eden 2012. Representations of sex trafficking in Hollywood follow more or less the same script. A conspiratorial network, generally run by people of color, kidnaps an innocent child, A generally white hero must race to the rescue. Occasionally, these stories like Taxi Driver introduce some moral complexity. Sometimes, as in The Mother 2023, trafficking is a plot byway rather than the central concern. But almost inevitably, one way or the other, difficult questions are skipped over. What was so horrible in Iris's home life in Taxi Driver that led her to run away to begin with? Wouldn't Eden be hounded by the cops if she actually murdered her captors in Eden? Papering over nuances ensures the purity of the rush of righteous morality and rage. Canon hasn't changed the tropes. It's just repurposed them for partisan politics. The Pizzagate conspiracy theory, which grew into canon, was based on the idea that Democratic officials were operating a satanic cabal and sex trafficking ring out of the pizzeria. It sounds ridiculous, but it's not that far removed from Hollywood narratives where vast kidnapping networks are virtually undetected. Bad guys are unremittingly evil, and good guys are sensitive and unfailingly virtuous. Contra. The film's distributor, Angel Studios, denies the film is connected to conspiracy theories and maintains it is not about politics. But it's been readily embraced by right-wing pundits who have praised Ballard's actions and downplayed or denied his apparent connections to canon. Psychologist and conservative commentator Jordan Peterson interviewed both Ballard and Caviezel on his YouTube channel, in which he asked about their belief in canon conspiracy theories. Ballard said they have condemned the majority of what they see with conspiracy theories, though he reaffirmed his belief in the adrenochrome blood harvesting theory. Ballard also called the Vice investigation very incredibly dishonest. Right-wing pundit Ben Shapiro also hosted Ballard and Caviezel on his YouTube channel to promote the film. Former President Donald Trump, who appointed Ballard to a State Department Human Trafficking Advisory Council in 2019 and has reportedly made exaggerated claims about human trafficking, shared a link to the trailer on Truth Social. Tangent. Theories that AMC has sabotaged screenings of The Sound of Freedom by shutting off air conditioning. Evacuating the theater or refunding tickets have gone viral among right-wing social media users, though the company denies it has interfered with screenings. In one viral TikTok, a user claims she pre-ordered tickets to The Sound of Freedom at the North Carolina AMC location, but her tickets were refunded because the theater lacked air conditioning. The user said she was permitted to attend the screening anyway, but criticized the company for allegedly not notifying ticket holders about the reason for the refund. Heavyweight boxer David Nino Rodriguez tweeted his experience watching the film at the AMC was horrendous because the volume was turned all the way down to nearly inaudible. Rodriguez asked his followers to share their stories of AMC allegedly ruining the experience of Sound of Freedom screenings, in which several users claim to also have had issues at the theater. AMC CEO Adam Aron denied these allegations on Twitter, calling them conspiracy theories. Some viral tweets by right-wing users also claim mainstream media outlets are attempting to sabotage or censor the film. Key background. The film centers on the fictionalized Ballard's pursuit to rescue a pair of Honduran siblings who are kidnapped to Colombia. Ballard reportedly has not claimed to conduct a mission exactly like this, though the film ends with a montage from his organization's real missions in Colombia, in which Ballard's organization claims to have rescued more than 120 victims.